Former Vice President Mike Pence was the guest speaker at the Long Island Association's Fall Luncheon on October 29th. He spoke with LIA President and CEO Matt Cohen. Pence explained how faith became a major part in his life.
I had had a little bit of social success coming up in high school, and I frankly walked away from faith. I thought religion was just a crutch some people needed. I wasn't critical of it, but I thought I didn't really need it in my life. But by the time I went off to college, I felt an emptiness in my heart, and I met some people who talked to me about a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And as a freshman, now back in 1978, I made a decision to put my faith in Jesus Christ, and it changed my life forever.
He also talked about his conversion from being a Democrat who voted for Jimmy Carter twice to a Republican conservative.
You know, I started to listen to another Midwesterner who had traveled to California to follow a movie career, and I started to hear the values that I'd really been raised with, of a strong national defense, of limited government, fiscal responsibility, traditional values. And I joined the Reagan Revolution in the early 1980s and never looked back. So
Cohen asked Pence about his thoughts on January 6th.
what I can assure you is that whatever we did that day was owing to God's grace and the support of my family and others around us who also did their duty. And I'll always believe in that moment we did our part to see to the peaceful transfer of power and support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. I was not afraid, but I was angry. I mean, I remember watching in the television screens once they'd taken us off the floor of the Senate first, and to see people smashing windows at the Capitol, to see people assaulting police officers. You know, I'm very humbled by the encouragement and affirmation of many in this room, but I want to tell you the heroes on that day were the men and women of law enforcement who secured the Capitol.
Pence also shared his experiences as vice president and his relationship with Donald Trump.
Some people think the president and I are a little bit different. But we never had a crossword between us for 4.5 years. I mean, I want to say to all of you, I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. We rebuilt our military, we revived our economy, we secured our border, we unleashed American energy, and we appointed conservatives to our courts at every level that gave the American people a new beginning for life. But somewhere toward the end, a group of outside lawyers had told the president things that just weren't so. And so as he became convinced that I had some authority to either reject or return votes back to the states, I was determined to stand my ground, stand firm, to keep my oath. Now, I will tell you, it may come as a surprise that in the aftermath of what happened on January 6th, the president and I sat down at his request. In the morning after, if you'll remember, President Trump denounced the violence, committed to a peaceful transfer of power, said everything that needed to be said. But when they reached out on the following Monday for a meeting, I went down and we sat together for about 90 minutes and we aired things out.
When asked if he would endorse Kamala Harris or Donald Trump for president, Pence gave this response regarding the election and his own party.
I could never support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I know them too well. I'm a conservative. I'm not in a bad mood about it, but they just represent a philosophy of government that I could ever support. But I'm staying out of the presidential campaign beyond that. I haven't endorsed our ticket, only because I have real concerns about the direction of the Republican Party today.
Lastly, Pence was asked what he expects to happen after Election Day.
I have a hope and a confidence that we'll move through this election. We'll have the decision, and then the American people will do what we always do, and that is we'll come together and we will face the common challenges that our nation faces.